What is up, wedding photographers or future wedding photographers? Today, we are going to help you reach six figures in 2023. It's engagement
Woohoo!
season. Woo, woo, woo. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself in a second, but I'm Carissa Wu, wedding photographer for 13 years, podcaster of Get a Heck Yes for wedding photographers, and I'm a coach. And this is my girl, Cindy. What's up, Cindy?
Hey there, how's it going?
Yeah, we've been the dream team for 3 years now, helping wedding photographers hit that 6K mark and plus. And today we're going to share about how I helped generate over $1.6 million
Crazy.
in revenue for my students, which I'm so proud of. But most importantly, I'm proud of my students. So yeah, we've been at it. It's the
Yeah,
passion. Yeah.
yeah, it's
And a
crazy.
little statistic is 40% of couples get engaged from now to February. So all of these little tips is really going to help you. And we're going to give you a lot of mindset shifts and really open your eyes to how to make that money.
Woo. All right,
Let's do it.
let's go.
Yep. So I'm Carissa Wu. I'm in South Bay, Los Angeles. I've shot weddings around the world. Find me on my podcast. Like I said, Get a Heck Yes. Mom of two. I play pickleball. I don't know anything about me. The cop. What about you, Sydney?
I'm Cindy Suzuki. I'm here in Austin, Texas, originally from Los Angeles, California, just like Carissa. And I've been kind of marketing, biz dev, copywriting for over 10 years as well.
Yes, yes. So after coaching for wedding photographers across the country, around the world for 3 years, and really I've been coaching for 13 years because I've been helping people
Yeah,
for that long, but intensely for 3 years, I started noticing some common themes, and we're going to teach you that today. So this is all going to help you.
for sure.
So these themes were mainly around number one, lack of clarity, and number two, fear. Like I always say, I hate it when people say it's all about mindset, but honestly, it really is. And I was a little scared deer before, and I've come out of my shell, and I'm trying to teach you how to come out of your shell too. So they didn't have clarity on their processes, how to explain their value, how to scale, and how to even screen their clients. Go ahead, Cindy.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the students were kind of, I don't know about scared, but kind of like intimidated by, technology. I guess they were kind of scared for, asking what they wanted. They had fears about social media, and they kind of had like reservations about becoming their own leader, which I found really interesting.
Yep. So scared. Everyone's scared of that tech, even though sometimes it'll only could take like 20 minutes, but it'll take you a year to implement. So that's why you have
Yeah.
Cindy.
Oh, so true.
So isn't that interesting? The lack of clarity combined with fear kept even the most talented photographers from making 10K a month. Like literally, there's so much talent out there, but some people just don't know how to make the money. But once they broke free of these entanglements, their businesses skyrocketed. Reminds me of the
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett entanglement. Love that word. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to share with you, with the help of my girl Cindy, the fear and confusion that held my students back and where they all are now, making the combined amount of $1.6 million since working with me. Holy mollies. And at the very
Yeah.
end, I'll have a video of some really cool testimonials that'll make us all cry, or actually me and Cindy cry because we're just so proud. All right. Are you ready? Are you
Woohoo! Heck
ready?
yes.
Say heck yes. All right, let's
Yes, yes,
do
yes.
this. So you could do this slide, Sydney.
All right. So, kind of like what we were saying before, they were intimidated by automation and tech. And we totally understand. It feels really big and daunting, but when somebody like Carissa is, holding your hand through this process, it doesn't feel so impossible anymore. And her students are actually able to take action, even though they were intimidated. They just had somebody to help them along. And sometimes that's all we really need.
Yeah, automation just makes you feel almost like you're working in your sleep and you can wake up with inquiries. It's the best feeling. Like now I automate pretty much everything, like most of my marketing, most of my social media, all my copy. I have a house cleaner. Like I want to be the big vision person, the visionary, like the CEO of my business, and I want everything automated. So that's what we
Yeah,
teach you. So after my students have these awesome automations in place, they have the automated lead magnet, they got the email sequence to capture leads, they have this beautiful downloadable and shareable guide to help bride and grooms like really warm up to you. They have beautiful vendor brochures with their branding, and it's just such a hit with vendors and couples. Cindy, you are the best at explaining what a lead magnet is because some people still don't know. So take it away.
for sure. It's really just a freebie that has value that you're giving on your website, on your social media, and you are sending it out there in exchange for an email address. So once they have their little goodie, like right here, this is 9 great questions only a great wedding photographer would know. Right now, that's one of the many lead magnets that Carissa will provide in this. So you give that to your bride and grooms. They take it, you get their email address, and now you can nurture them through this automated welcome sequence. So it's really nice. Everything is just automatic.
Yep. And we launched our brand new lead magnet today.
That's
12,
right.
12 horror stories, wedding photography horror stories, how to avoid these mistakes. It has such a catchy name to it. And you came up with that, Cindy. So I'll give you kudos for that one. So that's
Thank
all
you.
for our students. Make it creative, make it fun, be different.
Yeah.
So before our students, my students, did not know how to scale. So scaling usually means hiring a team, and that's great, but it does not always mean that for everyone. For our students, scaling is that without investing and like a full-blown team. We'll teach you in a little bit about what scaling really means to us. But when I think about scaling, I think about making more money per client. It could be adding videography, it could be adding albums, it can be making your offer super super sexy, so people are just like ready to buy, and like it's just a no-brainer. After my students have a way to scale without hiring like crazy, so we help you create this super super sexy offer. What the heck does sexy offer mean? I would say sexy offer just means an offer that is pretty much irresistible, and we'll get more into that in a second.
Yeah.
And also contracting out where it makes sense. Videography. Little hint.
Right.
Add videography to your package and we'll help you do that. Go for it, Cindy.
All right, so this is kind of where I think Carissa really excels. A lot of photographers these days, they try to copy other photographers, but in doing so, they end up like blending in with the crowd. And once you blend in with the crowd, you kind of start getting scared, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to differentiate. I thought I was differentiating, but I don't want to be crazy unique. I don't want to stand out and be weird. But it doesn't mean, standing out doesn't mean you have to be the only person in the world that shoots that type of photography. It doesn't have to be that crazy.
Yeah, I was at a networking event last week for photographers, and people were asking me questions because I'm a coach. And I just kept asking that question, like, why are you different? Why are you different? Why are you different? Tell me why you're different. And I actually got a really great review from Michelle yesterday, one of my current students. And she said before working with me, even though she was a PR major and worked in PR for like 5 years before, like she really
Yeah.
didn't know who she was talking to. And I asked her like so many powerful questions, like we dug so deep. And now she's like really, really honed into her voice and her brand and her messaging. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So after my students found their unique value proposition, found their niche, our girl Kimberly, we coined her as Chasing
Hmm.
Sunset, Colorful Skies photographer, because yeah, like the way she edits her skies is like cotton candy. I don't even know how she does that, but she also keeps the people super like in bright light too. So she's just amazing at that. So I told her like in 10 years, I'm gonna remember Kimberly, Chasing Sunset, Colorful Skies
Yeah. Oh
photographer.
my God.
Yeah, 1836 photography. She got brand new branding, but isn't that beautiful? Like 1836, you live in Texas now, but it's like when Texas was inducted. I need to Google this.
I do
But
too.
bold photography for vibrant souls. I mean, come on, that's beautiful. Like stop using these like cliche words like timeless and authentic, like overused words. Like be so unique. And our girl Bella, she found her brand value of kindness. Something happened to her when she was little, and this nurse was so kind to her. And this story like always stuck out to her. So she became a nurse. And now one thing that she likes to implement in her business is just like being kind, like really making you feel warm, making you feel at ease. And that's truly a brand value. So she speaks on that all the time. And I will always think of her brand as kind. Isn't that? I mean, don't you
Oh,
want a kind
that's
photographer?
yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah. So they coined a term for themselves, indie pop, our girl. Like, oh my gosh, we had so many calls together. Her husband was trying to make her become like colorful and then have another brand, which was like dark and moody. But I was like, no, 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 you love color, you love fun. And now she's coined as like the raver photographer and she's tapped into her brand like crazy. Like she gets the most epic weddings like on green wedding shoes. It's crazy. Like they're wearing these like bright like glitter jackets. They have like the confetti. They have like different color dresses. Her
Yeah, for her
clientele is
engagement
insane.
shoot, like wasn't some couples like they were wearing like the dinosaur, like blow us
Oh,
dinosaur outfits? Like what?
like Raptor, like
Yeah, it was so cute. It was so
I'm
hilarious.
I'm so jealous of her weddings. I'm like, wow, like she tapped into that and she had a photo
Party
booth and now it's
girl.
like the raver photo booth and it's getting booked out and she could charge premium prices because she's unique,
Yeah.
she's different. We take you to this journey where you're really going to dive deep into who you are. All right. Do you want to talk, Cindy? I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, this one is also really kind of special because it's hard to articulate value, and most people don't know how to. It's not limited to photographers; it's anybody in the service industry. How do you articulate your value? And Carissa always talks about how pricing for wedding photography is really subjective, and a lot of people just don't know how to budget for it. So they'll just Google something really quickly, and oh yeah, I think I have $2,000, but that's not really true in Carissa's experience, in her decade plus experience. So it's really up to the photographer to clearly and confidently explain their value. And so, when you say what's your budget, it's not going to really matter because the client doesn't know. Once you're able to articulate that value, they will pay the prices that you are setting because they want to work with you so much.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I've talked to so many couples and I've asked that question, um, what's your budget? And I asked this on purpose. But they usually say maybe 80% of couples say they don't know their budget. Or if they do lowball it, you could actually get them to have like a $2,500 budget to like an $8,000 budget because
Yeah, it's
you really have to
crazy.
educate. Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot.
crazy. I mean, a budget like what is some people are, yeah, of course, they're so strict about their budget, but most people are not. They could take it from the florals, they could take it from the rehearsal dinner, they could take the budget from their honeymoon, like maybe go on the honeymoon a year after, put that into photography because if your house is burning down, the first thing that you're gonna pick up is your wedding photos, that's for sure.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after my students know exactly what to say and they could truly answer those challenging questions and can show how their clients are getting the biggest bang for the buck because that's truly what everyone wants. And I know you're ready to say the story, but I remember on the podcast, what was the story? Like you hired a budgeted photographer and then they kind of met you at that price.
No, not that was probably somebody else, but I have my different other horror story.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was you.
Yeah, no, I hired, I paid a decent amount of money, but yeah, I did try to like negotiate too. I thought I can get away with that, but the more you try to negotiate, the more you try to, bring that value down, the less, nobody wants to play that game. They know what they're worth and they know what they can deliver. So yeah, don't play that game.
Yes, don't play that game because it's a
Hmm.
slippery slope. Stop offering like more and more stuff. Oh, I'll go to your Carissa dinner, I'll add an album, like I'll add this and
Yeah.
this and this, and I'll do this. Like it truly is a slippery slope. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You want to truly add value and tell them why, reasons you're different and why they should hire you. We
Yeah.
teach you all that goody stuff.
Yeah.
So before, they didn't know how to ask for what they want. So should I change up what they didn't ask for what they wanted? Oh yeah, okay.
They didn't ask for what
So
they wanted. Yeah.
so before working with me, and hopefully you guys gained so much education from this, but they didn't know what to ask. So before working with me, they didn't ask for what they wanted. So they thought they were being like bothersome. They didn't feel good enough. They thought vendors were getting bombarded with inquiries. So they assumed that outreach would be ignored. I'm writing a book. It's coming out very soon for wedding photographers. I actually interviewed about 12 venues and I was mind blown because they said only like 2 photographers a year pick up the phone and call them. I'm 38, so I didn't grow up with social media, so we did, pick up the phone. But even for me, it was a little bit weird to like get on the phone and ask for what you want, or learn how to network, or we'll talk later about social media, like using social media as a networking platform, not just a pretty
Mhm.
picture platform. So truly, like, I really helped my students like get out of their shell and truly reach out to the people they want to work with, whether it be venues, whether it be wedding planners, DJs, florists, even YouTubers, even collabing with people that building alliances. It's just so interesting. It's like the power of networking. I think I watched just like a Shanti documentary a while back, but she was like, "Your network is your net worth," and I was like, "No," but I truly believe that now. It really is.
I got to build that tribe.
Yep, go for it, Cindy.
Yeah, so now all of Carissa's students, they have the confidence, they're empowered now to go ahead and reach out to industry peers. Like, let's go on a coffee date. Let's meet up with other photographers, which they were scared to. They didn't see the point. They're happy and excited to ask to do IG lives with like wedding planners, and
Yep.
they're really proudly sharing their lead magnet and not worrying that it's going to be bothersome. And this is something that you had mentioned, which I thought was kind of cool, was acting as their own PR agency. Like they don't
Mhm.
need to go through a third party; they can go direct to publications and media outlets, and ask people to write about them. And I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
people do that. So I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people don't know how to do it, and it's actually not that hard.
It's not that hard. It's really getting out of your shell. I was on a webinar with these two coaches and all power to them. But at the end of the day, their pitch was they would get you on podcasts and they would teach you how to kind of explain your services on other people's podcasts. Guess how much they charge?
Oof, I'm assuming
25,
thousands.
25K.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, damn.
We're cheap
That's
compared to
yeah.
that. So I was like, wow, you could just ask yourself. So it's so interesting. You have to learn how to become your own publicist and your own advocate, honestly. So before our students making this crazy money, they didn't know they needed to find their tribe, like you just alluded to. So they worked alone and didn't mingle much. They didn't know that finding people who support you, send you leads, and become a family could be a life-changing for their business. So leads are going to come in from different directions. So it's better if you could refer each other. I'm on the Wayfarers Chapel list in Palos Verdes. I do pay to be on that list, but it's very cheap because like one wedding pays for it. But when I go there, I'm just like,
Wow.
hey, Deborah, hey, Julie, hey, blah, blah. Like it's a family. How are the kids? Blah, blah, blah. Like it
Yeah.
feels so warm and it feels like you're truly family. And when you have all of those galleries from that wedding, it's such a no-brainer that people are gonna hire
Mhm.
you. Like, hey, this is what you're gonna get. This is my price, no negotiating. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a tree that keeps on giving. Yeah, and rinse and repeat for wedding planners and DJs.
Yeah. That's right.
My beautiful team. Go for it, Cindy. We're making
Yes.
way. We're making way.
Yeah, so now, all your students, they're really making a name for themselves like within the industry. And they found that like profoundly beneficial for them. I think for their mental health, for their confidence, for everything. And so they're actually having fun networking. They're getting their name out in front of other industry peers, something that they never thought of before. And they're getting referrals. They're probably referring other folks, and they are becoming the go-to photographers for their niche, which is, so awesome. And, we're so, so happy for them.
Yeah. I was just listening to my podcast and I have a commercial with Kimberly. I don't usually listen to it when it's a final edit, but her testimonial was she was charging literally like nothing for weddings and maybe $1,000 at most. And, people
Ugh,
were trying to haggle her. And then after coaching with me, then now people are just like wanting to work with her and asking for her price and booking her at her price. And it just feels so good, right? When people like know your
yeah,
worth, like you put in so
yeah,
much time into your business, you hone into your craft, you do free work, you do styled shoots, you do all the things, and then when people finally like want to pay you for it at a good
yeah.
price, it's just like you have arrived. And always be thankful because what you appreciate appreciates.
Love that.
So before our students working with us, they didn't understand what it meant to become the CEO of their businesses. So as a CEO, you know how much you want to make. So why would you give a heavy discount? Pretend like you are literally your boss, and then you're coming to your boss and you're like, "Hey, boss Carissa, hey, boss, um, can I give a discount to this client. It's in the weddings in July, peak wedding season, $500 discount or extra hour. What would you say as a CEO?
Yeah, it's just like, well, why? Why
Yeah,
are
why?
you doing that?
Yeah, because you could get more leads and you could book at the price that you want. So why negotiate down? And when they negotiate down, they're going to tell their friends they want
Mhm.
that price. The people that are kind of haggling you down, they're the ones like never happy. They're the ones that always ask for more and more and more and never appreciate you and think they could take advantage of you because they did at that point.
Ugh, yeah.
It's not a good road
Ouch.
to go in, and especially it's not good for your long-term career for sure. All right. So after my
Mhm.
students are becoming leaders, they stepped into their power as a leader. They're more professional in their own way. And professional doesn't mean you're like stiff and wear black and you're like your LinkedIn profile type person.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're more brandable. Like their energy is so good. They're confident enough in their business and no longer get offered offended or upset when people say no. Like they always say like if everyone's saying yes to you, your prices are way too low. So you need
Mm,
people to say no to you, but you also need leads flooding in your way. So it's okay
yeah.
when people say no. You say, okay, that's fine. Next.
Yeah.
Thank you, next. Ariana, go ahead.
Yeah, and not to mention, like once you get those leads, you need to know how to close them. And your students are kind of doing that, in that 24-hour time frame that you teach, which is like, what? That's so crazy,
Dude,
Excuse
I
me.
mean, that was my bread and butter from day one, mastering the sales call. When I started wedding photography, I was early 20s. I was lucky. All my friends were going to get married. They knew I was doing my thing.
Yeah.
They hired me. They told their friends. After that wave of everyone married already, then I wasn't getting those inquiries. So I had to learn how to get a system to get nonstop inquiries. And I had to learn how to close a sale either on the call or in 24 hours. Because if they start talking to like their mom that wants to hire their uncle or their
Hmm.
friend, their cousin, like there's many options.
That's
Like
right.
you need to learn how to close like right now. So before my students, they didn't understand the real purpose behind social media. So we kind of talked about this in like the third slide, but they focus on views, on metrics that really don't matter. And it's not about views and it's not just about looking good. It's who you want to connect with. It's a networking tool. So when I go on social media, I actually like kind of like who do I want to talk to? I do a podcast, so I do want to talk to people that have the same audience as me, but don't do the same thing as me. Like
Hmm.
maybe Kiss albums, they're a big sponsor of mine. Boca Podcasts, Photographers Edit, OFD Consulting. I really treat it as a networking tool because
Yeah.
I already have pretty pictures. Like you can scroll down for days. Like I don't need that many more beautiful pictures. Like I want to connect on social media. And I have to throw in the word leverage. Leverage has been my favorite word in 2022, and I learned it in coaching. And it's pretty much leveraging other people's audiences. So you're building alliances with, other planners, venues, going live with them, like we mentioned, and just really showcasing like your work because if a planner says you're great, like it's a big deal and you're gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
go for it, Cindy.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I could, confidently speak to this either because I haven't started my social media account because of, guess what, fear and all that other stuff. But, after seeing you, Carissa, and your students kind of like, really using social media like strategically, like efficiently, and then not focusing on all like pretty and, metrics and all that stuff, like I feel like my mindset has been totally transformed too, like theirs. It feels like very, very natural, like what they're creating, and it doesn't feel like, hey, look at me, I'm showing off. It just feels very natural, like this is who I am. And I love that they are like no longer using like traditional content calendars because that is like really cookie cutter, and other people are going to be doing it too. So I love what you teach about how to come up with like endless amounts of content that are really original to you.
Yeah, very authentic to you. Like you said, like content calendars are great, but they didn't really work for me. They would work for like a couple weeks and I would get kind of over it because it just wasn't me, just like fill in the blank. My favorite space is blah, 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 my favorite
Yeah.
pose. But I really teach you how to tap into your brand values. We'll touch more about it in a second. And really getting into your own rhythm of when you post. I always do on my photography Instagram, like happy keeping it real Mondays. And I'm very consistent about that. And I do very vulnerable posts on my coaching feed and I talk
Yeah.
audio. And I went to a WIPA event, Wedding Industry Professionals Association event. And I'm going to just like have this audio with this like cool video. And yeah, that's my style and I have my rhythm. So you got to get into your rhythm and understand your brand values. So, in a nutshell, before working with me, my students were stuck. And after working with me, they each had their own unique breakthrough and major mindset shifts because I've been through it all, guys. I really been through it all. Like, it has not been completely easy for me. When the dark and moody style became super popular, I had 8 meetings in a row and like no one booked me. And these were like hour and a half long meetings. And my
Ugh,
friends told me to quit. Like I was rock bottom. So I had to like get coaches. I had to do all the things and I created my very own system and that's what I'm giving to you. So they got started on the things that they were scared of and realized it's not so scary because we could all do hard things. And they also built massive confidence, which had a snowball effect on leading to more leads, more creativity, and greater results. When you just keep pushing for your goal and you don't get down on yourself if you didn't get inquiry for a
yeah.
month, and you don't start comparing yourself and scrolling on social media, like, why is everyone doing so good? Should I give up?
Yeah.
Like you really focus on your goals. You have a coach, you have a map, you have a marketing plan, you have a roadmap, and just focus on the next step, the next step, the next step, leading to the next direction. Like that's when the magic's going to happen.
Yeah. Consistency.
So for wedding photographers who are ready to ditch fear and confusion, so you could skyrocket your business and your potential, my program is made for you. No more wondering how to get more inquiries. No more being intimidated by things and people who can help you. And no more hoping and praying. I know. Please, God. I'll go to church on Sunday. So I will personally help you and guide you to the other side, just as I did with all my other students. So I'm sure you have questions. So apply here and I'll get back to you. and I'll maybe even DM you because it goes down in the DM, right?
That's what they say.
Yes, that's what they say.
I got in the last like 2 or 3 days 18 inquiries.
What the heck?
Record. Like that's never happened in my life.
Oh my God, congratulations.
I just appreciate you so much. Thank you. And I'm just excited, for like to let you know how things are going.
I love you, girl. You're the best.
Thank you. Love you. Appreciate you so much.
Same to you.
I was shooting weddings basically for free or for like $1,000, and I was having to haggle for every single session to try and like show them my value. And now I have clients coming to me saying that they want to work with me, and I have, more importantly, other people in the industry recognizing my worth and asking me to work with them, which to me means even more than the clients, because they're people who've been in the industry for 10 plus years. They've seen, hundreds of other photographers, and they're able to recognize me and the value that I can offer them.
Thank you guys for
Thanks,
watching.
guys.